Welcome to Veterans Week 2022. We are excited and we are celebrating men and women who are serving and who have served our country through military service. This year's theme is a veteran's victory. My very special guest is YN2 Matthew Johnson, who served in the United States Navy. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Matthew is my son. If you can't see the resemblance, he is my son, and I am so glad that you are here with me on today. Let's go ahead and get started our interview. Military personnel, whether currently serving, discharged, or retired, have a story to share. As you introduce yourself and share your story, please tell us what inspired you to make the decision to enlist in the military?
Oh man, that's a very, very big question. So, you can hear me okay, correct? I just want to make sure that I'm able to be, heard okay.
Yes.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So, basically, what basically solidified my decision to join the Navy was that, I pretty much was going through a period of, I want to say like neglect in regards to my own, personal situations and my own personal, habits and everything, but it was definitely a lot of back and forth as to like what I wanted from my life. So it was a lot of like give and take and stuff. Obviously, growing up in Florida and everything. Basically at the age of 21, that's when I made my decision to come and stay with you and stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was a different kind of situation because I wasn't sure where my life was headed at that time. So it was
Mhm.
like um, I just didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do in that regard. I didn't know where I wanted to go. Um, it was just pretty much just a situation of okay, how do I elevate myself in regards to getting myself to the next level, right? So
Yes.
um, and around that time frame, I was trying to figure out which college do I go to.
Mhm.
College was too expensive. Didn't have a car. Didn't have a job like that and everything, nothing. And then
Mhm.
that's when
Mhm.
I got the referral to work at Family Dollar,
Mhm.
and I think it was Capitol Heights, it was National Heights. I can't remember which one.
Yeah. In Maryland.
Yeah, it was in Maryland. Yeah, but I got the referral to work there and
Mhm.
everything. And that's when I met Bobby, my manager, and that's when Bobby was like, "Hey, why don't you go join the Navy or something like that?" And I was
Mhm.
like, and like I never really saw myself as somebody that wanted to join the
Yeah.
service, right? So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, let me just go ahead and just do that, and like, what I mean, let me work on that and see what that's gonna look like, right? So,
Mhm.
um, so fast forward to February 3rd of 2015, is when I went to the recruiter's office and I enlisted. I took my ASVAB test, and obviously, we went to MEPS and everything, did my test there too,
Yeah.
passed it, and then that's when, they came out with a whole list of jobs, right? So it was
Mhm.
like I had a selection
Yeah.
between, um, what was it? It was an MA, it
Mhm.
was MMA, which I don't
Mhm.
know, I don't understand what the difference between an MMA and an MA was, but,
Yeah.
um, then it was, CS, which is a cook, and then there was yeoman, so I was
Mhm.
like, I didn't necessarily want to be somebody that wanted to work on top of, the ship or anything like that,
Yeah.
or work, outside, experience like the full-fledged,
Mhm.
ability of combat. So I was like, well, let me find a job that doesn't involve me having to be in combat so much.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I started asking the different questions and stuff, and sure enough, um, I
Mhm.
was like, okay, what is it? What does a YN do? And then as people are like, "Oh, you don't want to be an MA?" And I was like, "What's MA?" They said, "Well, that's a police job. Like, you get to hold guns. You get to shoot. You get to pretty much like, it's like the Navy's version of like, what
Mhm.
a grunt is pretty much in the Marines. Like, so, at that moment, I was like, it's not really my strong suit. So I was like, "What's a YN?" And they was like,
Mhm.
like, that's a paper pusher. You don't want to be that,
Right.
Um, my thing was always want to be the person that everybody pretty much wanted, to turn down to be in the way, because I always
Mhm,
felt like,
mhm.
even some of the smallest things, I can pretty much take that and
Yeah.
make that into something that's going to be great. So, and then when I saw that they kind of belittled the rate a little bit,
Mhm.
I looked at him and I said, that's the one I want to go with.
Yeah.
So I signed up to be a yeoman and everything.
Mhm.
Um, and it was crazy because like literally, when we went on that cruise and stuff,
Mhm.
that's when I kind of got like the
Yeah.
the fundamentals of
You
it
got
and
all the
everything. And
feels.
I kind of, yeah, yeah. So I was kind of like, oh, okay, it's a
Mhm,
cruise and everything. Like, I
mhm.
went on a cruise, and then, and I kind of had an epiphany. It
Yeah.
was like a situation of, oh man, like,
Mhm,
nothing's going right for me. I didn't
yeah.
know where my life was heading. I didn't know what I was doing. Nothing
Mhm,
happened. So I was just like, okay, we're all right, God. Where do we go from here?
mhm.
So,
Right.
and then from that moment, I was just kind of like, okay, you know what, like, and that's when I heard him. You talked to
Mhm,
me. I was out in the
mhm.
ocean. All I heard was the waves, the sound of water, and he told me, go into the Navy.
Yeah.
I said, okay.
Mhm,
So I made a decision. That's when I made a decision to go in.
mhm.
And ultimately, I just wanted something better for my life. I didn't,
Yeah.
I didn't want to be the kind of person that was stuck working at a 9 to 5 job,
Yeah.
making the littlest amount of possible, and,
Mhm.
unable to do what I needed to do, constantly taking the bus all the time. Like,
Right.
I didn't want to be that person. I wanted to be
Mhm.
somebody that was more than that, so,
Yeah.
and that's what ultimately influenced my decision to join. So,
Awesome. Awesome. You
yep.
mentioned about MEPS. I know you have a story that you might want to share how you barely made it in. When you took your after you took your ASVAB and it was another person
Hmm.
and you barely made it in, but you made it
Hmm.
in.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
you have a story about MEPS, how interesting it was in that experience. And I still think about this day when you told me how there was a lady who did not look like she should be there.
Hmm.
And she's like, "Well, I want to do infantry." And then there was a little
Hmm.
short guy, little short older
Hmm.
man
Hmm.
who said, I think he said he wanted to do infantry. And when you told me that, it's comical, but it's the reality for a lot of people. You may have different classes of people, different nationalities,
Hmm.
different sizes and heights. They look like they shouldn't be in there, but when they say I want to be in infantry, I want to carry a
Hmm.
gun. Like
Hmm.
this person don't look like they should be carrying a gun.
Hmm.
But you had some interesting stories with MEPS. I know you
Hmm.
went through basic training. I
Hmm.
know you had a hard time wearing the mask. Well, actually, you said it was easy, right?
Oh man, um, it was an experience. I'll start off with the MEPS one first. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, with MEPS and everything, when I took the ASVAB test and everything, my score was actually it was a 49,
Mm-hmm.
and the Navy required you to have what was a they required you to have a 51 in
Yeah.
order to pass. So, um, at that point in time, I was like, okay. I mean, obviously, everything's changed. Maybe the score is a little bit lower, maybe it's a little bit higher. I'm not sure, but I know in 2015,
Mm-hmm.
you had to have a 50 or above to
Right.
enlist, right? So for me, it was like I had a 49. And
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, oh man, like this isn't happening. Like
Mm-hmm.
I did all this process. What's the deal here, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I was a little upset,
Mm-hmm.
um, but and I called my recruiter up and I said, hey, like, is there any way I can take it a second time?
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Right.
was like, maybe there's a question that I missed that I can go back and kind of change or something. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but what do I need to do to to be able to to take care of that and stuff? And then he was just like, oh, I don't know, we'll see what we can do about that and everything, and I'll let you know. Um, and he was ready. Like he was ready to just be like, you know what,
Yeah.
like there ain't nothing we can do. We got to pack
Mm-hmm.
up, we got to go home, like all that stuff, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
um, so literally, what ended up happening was that I remember it too because it was literally that same morning.
Yeah.
Um, you know, we literally because we stayed in a hotel and stuff. So literally the next day, that same morning,
Mm-hmm.
he calls me. He's like, "Hey, Johnson, I need you to, get pack up your stuff and everything. I need you to
Hmm.
we're gonna go to the Mets office,
Yeah.
and you're gonna select your job. And
Awesome.
I was like, wait, what? Like, what you mean we're gonna select my job? I thought you said I was done.
Right. Right.
So, and then he was just like, oh, we was able to kind of pull some strings and stuff, and
Hmm.
they said it's a one-time deal. They
Yeah.
said that they're able to kind of work something out for you, but they said,
Hmm.
but you have to take the only race that they gave you.
Yeah.
So in that time, out of the whole entire group, my score
Hmm.
was the lowest, being
Yeah.
only missing by 2 points
Right.
off.
Right.
So literally, what I did was that I went to we went inside, and that's when I looked at all the jobs and stuff, and
Hmm.
applied for the one I
Yeah.
wanted. um, and that's when I heard, the girl behind me, she
Hmm.
really sat like right behind me, and she's just
Right.
like, I'm just looking at the TV because all they had on the TV was NCIS.
Right.
And I was like, I don't like watching it, but I have no choice
Hmm.
but to watch it because there's nothing else
Hmm.
to watch, and I'm just trying
Yeah.
to pass the time. But all I heard
Hmm.
her saying is talking behind me. She's like,
Hmm.
oh, oh, I want to be an infantry. And
Right.
the guy next to her was like, "Oh, what branch you going into?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm going into the Marines. Like, I want to be infantry and everything. That's what I
Hmm.
want to do. I want to hold a gun. I want to shoot people." And I'm just like, and I'm just turning around like, and I'm just gonna sit in my chair like, well, I'm gonna be
Right.
pushing paper, so that's what I'm gonna do. So
Right.
but yeah, I mean that's what ended up happening and stuff. And
Yeah.
sure enough, I mean, and it was hilarious to me because
Hmm.
at the time it was funny because
Hmm.
like she went into the office,
Hmm.
and I didn't mean to laugh, but she came out the office crying
Yeah.
because she didn't get infantry.
Oh, wow.
um they actually said that she was actually
Hmm.
she actually wasn't able to get in. I mean, obviously one because of her weight standards were off and everything, but
Yeah.
the thing is that they said she
Hmm.
just seemed like she was just too gun ho
Yeah.
to want to
Yeah.
do that part. So
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, oh well,
Mhm.
that sucks.
And you say she like a model. She look like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like a model. It's like people
Yeah.
look at it, it's like, do you really want to be here? Do you want to,
Mhm.
do you think you should
Mhm.
be here? So tell me
Yeah.
about basic training. Tell me some of the things that you experience. I know some of the things, but tell me, some of the things you may experience in basic training, and then
Mhm.
tell us some of the experience you had in A school.
Let's see. Basic training. Basic training for me started at was it July 15th, 2015.
Hmm.
Um, I still remember like it was yesterday. I remember
Yeah.
getting off the bus or getting on the bus. No, rather, let me start there. Rather, getting off the plane,
Hmm.
getting into the airport in O'Hare in Chicago, and then
Yeah.
literally just, everybody's just walking. It's
Right.
normal. We all walking. Like,
Mhm.
just walking up to the doors and stuff. We got this like, uh, these petty officers and stuff. They dressed up. They got like the red ribbons and stuff, the red ropes. They're going around their shoulders and everything.
Yeah.
So everybody, they just standing there. They're like, they're standing like this. They waiting for you, and then, they tell you,
Mhm.
come on and everything. And then sure enough, they line you up and stuff, where they just tell you, just stand against the wall.
Mhm.
And everybody's standing there. I think we sat there in the waiting area for like about a good like 2 to 3 hours, just waiting for
Wow.
them to get
Wow.
there. And some of us, we took a nap. We fell asleep. We had our backpacks and stuff, so we laid back. We fell asleep and everything.
Mhm.
Some people didn't have anything; they just fell asleep against the wall.
Mhm.
But man, like when they pulled up, like that's when you knew it was real, because it's like, oh man, like
Yeah.
they pull up, and then at that moment you just like, I'm stranded. Like I can't
Right.
go anywhere.
Can't go nowhere.
Like I'm here. I can't get back on the plane. Mama,
Mhm.
can you come and get me? Because
Right.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. Like, what did I sign up for?
Exactly. Like that's literally the thought that goes through your mind at the time. So literally, while we was doing that and stuff, I was like, me, I was always been the person where,
Mhm.
if I'm already like in a situation, I'm already
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Like there's no getting out of it. Like
Right.
I have to work through it. Otherwise, if I
Mhm.
don't, like, what was the point of
Mhm.
me even going through this?
Yeah.
So in that moment, I'm quiet,
Mhm.
staying in attention, facing
Mhm.
forward. They're yelling at us left and right. You got
Mhm.
two people in your ears, both
Yeah.
sides telling you what to do.
Mhm.
I have my packets of orders just sitting in front of me, laid out nice and neat.
Yeah.
Then they tell us to get on the bus.
Mhm.
We get on the bus. Um, Let me see. They didn't tell us to put our heads down. I know they used to do that a while back and everything. Like some of the videos I watched on YouTube, they told them to
Mhm.
put their heads down.
Yeah.
But for us, like they waited until we got to like I think we got to the main gate and they told us to
Mhm.
put our heads down because they didn't want us to know like,
Mhm.
where we were coming
Who's
in
going?
from. Yeah, I
Mhm.
think because they probably didn't want us to escape or anything like that.
Right.
I'm not sure why that was. So literally what happened was that we pulled up um to the entrance.
Mhm.
And then I never forget this. You literally get off. They get on the bus and they tell you they're yelling at you to say, you need to get off the bus right now. And they're like, go, 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 like off the
Mhm.
bus, off the bus, off the bus. So everybody's like rushing off the bus. And then I'm
Mhm.
literally this first thing I get up, I look up and I see, and the sign literally says it says Naval Air Station or Naval Station Great Lakes and
Mhm.
everything, or uh what is it? Like RTC Great Lakes or Recruit Training Great Lakes, like that kind of stuff. So you literally see the sign like
Mhm.
across the wall or the top on top of the ceiling and stuff
Mhm.
on the outside, and then you literally walk through the door.
Yeah.
And literally, when you walk through the door, there's like this hallway. So it's
Mhm.
like it just goes up and then it curves over and stuff. So
Wow.
you're going up and it comes over and everything. And literally, like, and they tell you to line up like one person in front of the other. And
Mhm.
then you got the RDCs that like walk past you and they're like,
Mhm.
okay, oh, they tell you what to do, they're yelling and everything. They're like, oh, you need to take out your phone, you need to make a phone call, you need to call your people, let them know that you're safe. You got 30 seconds to do so.
Mhm.
Me, like, I gave you my phone.
Yeah. Right.
So I was like, because I didn't need it, so I was
Yeah.
like, oh, well, sorry, it's the last time I'm gonna talk to y'all before I'm done.
Mhm.
So I gave you guys my phone. Sure enough, took my phone,
Mhm.
and I didn't have anybody to call, so I asked the guy in front of me. I said, "Yo, can I use your phone, bro? Because I need to call my mom. I need to call somebody, let them know that I'm here." So,
Yeah.
sure enough, I called my mom. I said, "Hey, I'm here. You know,
Mhm.
um, I'll call you back. I don't know when, but I will. Then
Yeah.
whatever happens, happens." And sure enough, that was that. And
Yeah.
the first day or the first 2 days were
Mhm.
super rough because you get there
Yeah.
and literally, I mean, obviously, they have you change out, they have you get into like um
Mhm.
your regular like gear and stuff. So it's
Yeah.
like your PT uniform. It's like
Mhm.
back then it
Mhm.
was like the yellow shirt with like the blue pants and stuff, and then you had to
Yeah.
turn your shirt like I think you had to turn your shirt inside out so they
Mhm.
knew that it was you, that you were one
Yeah.
of the new recruits.
Yeah.
Um, and then there was this lady, it was like
Mhm.
this Asian lady and stuff who, she's super famous at
Yeah.
Great Lakes for cutting people's hairs.
Yeah.
And she's like considered like one of the worst
Yeah.
ladies to go get your hair cut at because
Mhm.
she literally shaves you completely bald.
Wow.
Sometimes she leaves patches in your hair.
Wow.
So
Wow.
you couldn't even get a fade or anything at the
Yeah.
beginning of the basic
Right.
training. You literally had to wait to the very end to get the haircut that you wanted. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was crazy. Like we went
Yeah.
through that and stuff, and then they lined us up in this area or whatever, and they had the fans. I never, that was this is
Yeah.
like the pinnacle moment. I feel like this was like a test of like
Mhm.
endurance or something
Mhm.
because literally that whole section there was like a big fan here,
Yeah.
one of those big industrial fans on this side,
Mhm.
another one on this side, and they're
Mhm.
just blowing at your face, like
Wow.
blowing at you.
Wow.
And then, and I don't know who. I think
Mhm.
I might be the only one, but you get that feeling when you just got the fan blowing in your face,
Yeah.
and it just makes you
Yeah.
just want to go to sleep.
Right.
And beyond that point, we haven't slept
Mhm.
for more than 24 hours at that point because they
Yeah.
literally have you wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Mhm.
Um, before you go to basic training, have you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. You do your whole in process and everything until like maybe like 10 o'clock, and that's when
Mhm.
we say goodbye to y'all, and
Yeah.
then we get to Great Lakes literally around like 9 o'clock at night,
Mhm.
and then we're up until like literally the whole next day all over again. So we
Wow.
get no sleep, like
Wow.
none,
Wow.
and you can't go to sleep otherwise they
Yeah.
make you stand up, and if they make you
Yeah.
stand up, they come over and they yell at you. So
Wow.
yeah, so it
Man.
was a lot to deal with, and everybody got assigned their their RDCs
Mhm.
and stuff.
Mhm.
I had a senior chief from my RDC.
Yeah.
He was an E8, and let me
Mhm.
tell you, that dude, and he was an AO,
Yeah.
and he worked in ordnance. Yo,
Yeah.
let me tell you, that dude, he yelled at me one time, and I never
Right.
messed up the entire
Right.
entirety of Great Lakes. Like I never messed
Wow.
up, not once.
Wow.
Um, and it was all over the fact that
Mhm.
my bed wasn't made correctly.
Oh, wow.
Because there was one corner that was out, and I was just
Yeah.
like, why you yelling at me like this, bro? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, but he very much, yeah, he was a hard dude, man, and like, let me tell you
Mhm.
that, just I think the hardest part of basic was
Mhm.
obviously the it was the PT sessions because it
Yeah.
would just happen so randomly where
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
pull out the orange card and they just go to town, and it's
Wow.
like, and sometimes there'll be some sessions where it hurts,
Mhm.
like when you're doing like flutter kicks and stuff, and like,
Mhm.
by that time I already had a bad back, so like, I'm like,
Mhm.
like doing this.
Mhm.
um I mean, that bad back mainly was from, doing a lot
Yeah.
of the PT sessions and stuff like during
Yeah.
basic and everything.
Mhm.
um but and it was crazy, man, like, and I think that the most memorable one definitely was the gas chambers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gas chambers was crazy because they put you in this room, get this gas
Mhm.
mask on and stuff,
Mhm.
and you're all lined up and everything, and then
Yeah.
they make sure that everything's like sealed tight around, so you can't breathe in anything on the
Right. Right.
outside. It's only on the inside, and then
Mhm.
they turn up the heat on something or whatever, something that they just light up, and they just keep like, they
Yeah.
like rub it,
Mhm.
and it's supposed to create some chemical or something that releases in the air, so they just keep
Yeah.
rubbing it.
Yeah.
And the minute you like, they just tell you, they do the first row. They say, first
Mhm.
row, take off your mask. And you just hear everybody just, like,
Wow.
like, and you
But
couldn't laugh.
you went in there like, "Imma take it. Imma take it." And next thing you
Yeah,
know.
I tried, because literally when they got to my row, because
Mhm.
you had to state your first name,
Mhm.
your full social, and you
Mhm.
had to state that um that you are
Mhm.
um like, what is it? You had to state your first name, your social, and you had to state the first line of the Sailor's Creed.
Mhm.
Literally the first line, and literally like the first minute you couldn't even get past the first three numbers of your
Wow.
social without like
Wow.
choking, because
Yeah.
it was just so suffocating, and
Yeah. Wow.
and then your eyes start like watering really, really.
Mhm.
It's like it just drains you out,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
sinuses full, just it
Yeah.
drains you out. Your nose is
Wow.
runny, you're like, you're holding your mouth like this, 'cause you're trying
Yeah.
not to throw up, and you're just holding
Yeah.
up your mask like this, and then
Wow.
yeah, and it was
Wow.
bad. It was really
Wow.
bad,
But
and like
you came out of it, you was like, "Man, that wasn't nothing."
I was like, man, that ain't phase me, but
Right.
nah,
Right.
but I came out and I was like,
Mhm.
wow, this is like,
Yeah.
I could barely keep my eyes open. I was like
Mhm.
rubbing my face, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, just trying to, open up my
Mhm.
eyes. I had to go to the fountain and put some water in my face and everything.
Yeah.
It was bad, like really
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
But not
We
worse than what I heard with
Yeah.
OC spray. Getting OC sprayed, I heard is
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
tough, But luckily I've never gone through OC spray
Mhm.
training, so
Okay.
because I was never attached to a ship, but
Yeah.
if so,
Mhm.
but
I
yeah,
mean, you had a
but
lot of
yep.
good experiences. Imma say good experiences in basic training.
Hmm.
One thing I do remember, you served directly under one of the chiefs, which was
Hmm.
sort of an honor, because they didn't want you actually with. I think it was graduation. Led up to graduation. You was actually serving along in the back. You was serving along with senior officers, and I thought that was an
Hmm.
honor for you to do
Hmm.
in that regard. Tell me, what's the best thing you loved about A school, advanced or technical training?
Um, A school. The best thing I love about A school was Definitely the people.
Hmm.
I felt like I built some really, really great relationships in A school.
Yeah.
I felt like I really, built like you know, a
Hmm.
lot of fundamentals with a lot of people there and stuff. That's why I met one of a lot of my friends I still keep in contact with now.
Hmm.
Like, you know, shout out to McCray, shout out to Griffin. you know, I was still in contact with those two. My buddy Griffin, he's still in right now. He's looking to get out next year.
Okay.
My buddy McCray, he got out,
Hmm.
but then went back in because he was living in Japan at the time, and he said he
Yeah.
didn't realize how difficult it was for him
Hmm.
and his family and stuff. But um, I respect everybody's decision to whether or not they want to stay in and get out. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, A school was it was pretty awesome. To this day, I would say the best galley in the entire Navy. I don't care what anybody tells me.
Yeah.
Meridian, Mississippi,
Hmm.
is by far one of the best galleys in the
Awesome.
Navy because the food was just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Shout out to Martin Luther King Day because that was, let me tell you, shrimp and grits,
Yeah.
catfish, biscuits, and gravy,
Wow.
everything to the T.
You got my
It
mouth over here
was
watering.
exactly. Yeah, it was good. It was really good, and
That's good.
definitely like a lot of the events and stuff that we did there. Like
Hmm.
we had
Hmm.
our first Navy ball that we went to.
Hmm.
We had our first what was it that we had? Went out of town and stuff. That was my first time in the Navy ever going out in town. And it also happens to be like the A school happens to be also the starting point where people pick up some of the worst habits that go on with them throughout the entirety of their career.
Hmm.
But all around, like, definitely the people,
Yeah.
because I had some really great, relationships there and stuff. And, but other than that,
Hmm.
I would say like the worst part of it was when I did a PT session
Hmm.
and I hurt my back so bad to the point where it literally like locked up on me as I was running. Like I was just running because
Yeah.
the way that was like the schoolhouses were ran was that it
Hmm.
goes up and then it's
Hmm.
downhill and then it's this way again and it's downhill again and then the
Yeah.
schoolhouse is right in front of you. And then
Wow.
you got to go run right around. You got to come right back up. So it's pretty
Hmm.
much the opposite of what it is. So
Hmm.
it's literally like this.
Yeah.
And we were going up, and then as I made that turn,
Hmm.
um, I was at like because I think my time I had to make was like 12 minutes and 30 seconds in terms
Yeah.
of my run time in order
Yeah.
for me to consider, a passing.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was sitting at like 11 minutes and 50 seconds. And let
Hmm.
me tell you, as I was hitting that corner, I
Hmm.
like gunned it
Yeah.
and I forgot that it was a steep, like going
Hmm.
down. So I was running down. And as I was running down, I was like if this is my back
Yeah.
and this was like my area and stuff, it was just going like
Hmm.
this, just
Yeah.
knocking on it. And then I'm just like,
Wow.
and then finally, as soon as I like got past them,
Yeah.
like I didn't make the time, but I like dropped down to the floor and just
Mm.
like locked up. Like I couldn't even move. I couldn't get up. Nothing. Like my back was hurt really really bad.
Wow.
And like
Wow.
and I had one of uh the he was
Hmm.
like a LS chief and stuff. So he was
Hmm.
like a supply chief. He came over to me. He was like he was basically making fun of me. He was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're like, oh, I seen the way that you run, and you know, you don't run like a professional. You don't run like a sailor or whatever like that. I wouldn't want you in my navy. Like, just belittling me and stuff, right? So
Yeah.
like, and I'm just, and then obviously, one of my other chiefs that was there,
Hmm.
he's looking
Hmm.
at him, and he's like, dude, like like his back hurts. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
So, but I think he got fired, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken.
Okay.
From what the stories I've heard, I don't know how true that
Hmm.
is, but like, um, but yeah, that's what happened, and
Yeah.
and then from there, like, I was pretty much on light duty for like pretty much the rest of A school, but this was like the last like 2 weeks that I had in A school and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, you know,
Awesome.
it was pretty dope. So
Yeah. I remember taking you to the track and you running and you had to meet that 12 minute time trying to get you there, and it took some time to try to get you there, get you prepared
Mhm.
to make
Mhm.
that time. But
Yep.
I'm glad you enjoyed your journey in the military thus far. Listen, some people either love the military or they hate it. They don't like it. They want to get out. They want to leave after they do their, time. They serve
Mhm.
their time 2 years, 3 years, I think it's four
Mhm.
years, and they just
Mhm.
leave.
Mhm.
Um, how long did you serve? Question number one. And what made you want to either stay in the military or
Mhm.
leave? And then I'm gonna ask you another question. So, how long did you serve?
Served for 7 years. Yep.
7 years. And what made you
7
want to
years.
stay in the military or leave?
Um. So during my times where I was re-enlisting, right?
Hmm.
The reason why I stayed in the military the way that I did was mainly because, obviously, like, um, that was on the cusp that, Cam was being born. I wanted to make sure that he was going to be good and he was going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
So I stayed in the first time, mainly because of him. I re-enlisted. Because at that point I already did like 3 years, and then I
Hmm.
re-enlisted for another four.
Hmm.
Um, so I only have one re-enlistment under my belt, but literally that was the whole sole reason for doing it. Because I was like, okay, there's a possibility that I can get close to the family. Maybe there's a slight chance I can get close to the family.
Right.
And that was from when I went from California. I was stationed in San Diego at the time
Hmm.
on North Island, and then I went from there to Maryland, and that's when we did the cross country drive.
Hmm.
Um, at the time, Angelina was pregnant,
Hmm.
but pretty much went from there up to Maryland and stuff, and then I think that's when I started to really. It's when I got to Maryland is when I started to see like you know the the polit the political side of the
Hmm.
military and the Navy, like
Yeah.
everything in regards to like basically everything that you do is wrong.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and I maybe encountered like, and that's what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
you know, we always had like, people that we call career killers
Yeah.
because, they're just natural born, like,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know, the energy that they bring to the table is just
Yeah.
so toxic and so, um,
Hmm.
it's just so disgusting. It's just that you be around those kind of people you don't want to stay in,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's pretty much what I encountered, with
Mhm.
being in the service was that
Yeah.
I encountered a lot of toxic leadership and everything,
Mhm.
which ultimately, forced my hand to want to get out because, I don't think that that's the way that the culture should be.
Yeah.
Granted, I had only one chief that I was, really, really, really um, attached to,
Mhm.
um, because he understood, a lot of everything that I've, experienced and stuff.
Yeah.
He was the kind of person that never forgot where he came from, and I
Mhm.
feel like that's kind of why he kind of got pushed to the side a little bit, towards his ending of his retirement date.
Yeah.
Um, which I'm not afraid to say that, what they
Mhm.
did to him was completely messed up,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, like, you got somebody that came into the office and stuff and basically
Mhm.
said, hey, like, I know how to do this job, but in
Mhm.
reality, they don't know nothing about the job.
Right.
And
Right.
in reality, you're gonna push somebody that has already been in the position and
Mhm.
knows
Mhm.
the job, you're gonna push them to the side to make way for somebody else,
Yes.
and that basically just,
Mhm.
destroyed the spot. So
Yeah.
and then that end of the day, like, that's ultimately what caused my decision to want to get out,
Mhm.
because, it was a lot of that too. Half
Yeah.
of it was, stuff at home and everything,
Yeah.
on the home front and everything. And,
Mhm.
I was basically given an ultimatum as to, um,
Mhm.
whether, if I decide to stay in, then I got to be without my family. If I decide to
Right.
get out, then I still possibly have to be without my family, and I can't focus on anything that I'm doing because somebody wants to focus on what they're doing. I'm not gonna say any
Right.
names,
Right. Right. Right.
but at the same
Mhm.
time, you know, being in the service and everything,
Mhm.
um, I was kind of just I was struggling a lot with a lot
Yeah.
of the leadership and stuff, and
Mhm. Mhm.
even with the birth of my son and everything, the Navy made it hard for me to be a father to my son.
Yeah.
They made it hard for me to want to be there for my son. Like anytime my son got sick, I was always scolded for needing to take off work to go and take him to the doctors.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime that, my son had a fever, I got scolded for wanting to take off work to take him to the doctors.
Yeah.
Anything that happened to him, like,
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty much unable to do anything with him because of
Yeah.
the fact that,
Yeah.
they was just like, hey, like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And it was from that point moving forward, and obviously, that's the same time that we lost Greta.
Yeah.
Um, and that was a hard one for me to take, and I was really, really, really upside down with that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I felt like I was basically being put out to, um, not put to death for what I was doing, but at the same time, like, basically put in a position where
Yeah.
they was trying to make me, fail in a way, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, what happened was that, when I went from Maryland to Norfolk,
Yeah.
that's when it really did it for me
Mm-hmm.
because, like I said, I had this chief that came in,
Yeah.
um, and she was basically a career killer,
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I said, like I'm not afraid to talk about it.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
just a simple fact that, I'm not in no more.
Yeah. It's your story. It's
I don't
your
have to
story.
deal with it no more. But as
Yeah.
that's somebody else's problem. But at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, it happened, so I
Yeah.
can talk about it. So it's like,
Yeah.
she um she made me feel like I couldn't, be a father to my son. She made me feel like I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't, do what I needed to do. And
Yeah.
and the Navy has this culture thing where it's kind of like, okay, um, they look out for certain people and not
Yeah.
the people that they should be looking after.
Exactly.
Um, they focus more on their inner circles than they do like the junior sailors and the people that's
Mm-hmm.
actually going to take over the Navy when they come up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's the politics behind it, and that's why
Yeah.
it didn't really sit right with me.
Yeah.
Because in reality, you're not putting the sailor first. You say
Right.
that you're about family, but in
Yeah.
reality, when something about family comes up,
Mm-hmm.
then you want to switch up and say it's not about family. Like it's
Right.
about the mission. And
Yeah.
I just got tired of hearing that statement. Like it's about the mission, it's about the mission, it's about the mission.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, well, if the service member isn't right,
Mm-hmm.
financially, emotionally, mentally,
Mm-hmm.
physically, every single thing that makes a sailor, like family and all that stuff. Like, if the home front isn't going well, then
Mm-hmm.
maybe you need to tell that person, hey, you need to take care of the home front because
Yeah.
if you're not okay, then this
Mm-hmm.
isn't going to be okay, you
Yeah.
know. And that's
Yeah.
ultimately what needed to happen and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why, like,
Yeah.
I just made the decision to get out, because it wasn't working out for me.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it just wasn't going well. I wanted to spend
Yeah.
more time with my son, and sure
Mm-hmm.
enough, I asked him multiple times to
Yeah.
please put me in Florida. It did
Mm-hmm.
not happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you had people that was pulling strings left and right to get stationed in Florida. I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
get stationed in Florida. They wanted to send me back out to California to go on a boat, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not happening because if I got to
Right.
be without my family,
Mm-hmm.
what am I supposed to do? So
Mm-hmm.
yep. So
Yeah.
ultimately, that's why I just decided to
Yeah.
get out because leadership was bad, and
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, I just had one of those leaders that just, it was bad. She literally
Yeah.
took all my access away to help out everybody, only the females in the office. And, I'm not, feminist or I'm not against,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
women being successful. I love the fact that women have the chance to be successful and everything. I was just against the fact of, you know, the favoritism behind it per
Yeah.
se. And
Yeah.
that's the only way I can possibly put it is that that's what I was against was the favoritism behind it
Yeah.
because I'm not one to just be stuck on just one person or
Mm-hmm.
a group of particular people and leave everybody else high and dry. Like I like to have,
Yeah.
if I can come up in some kind of way, like I'm gonna have everybody else come up, and that's just what it's
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Like and even
Yeah.
it can, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It
yep,
sounded like that you would have done. That's what you would have done differently if you were still in the military,
hmm
um, and you would have made some adjustments. I remember us having a conversation, and you was like, you was there. It's like they didn't got on so much on your nerves that it seemed like all the challenges you faced, all the things that you
hmm
went through,
hmm
was the reason why you
hmm
left.
hmm
Um, and because of those challenges you faced in the military and the
hmm
adjustments that you had to make, I remember having me and you having a deep conversation, and basically you came to the decision. You say, you know what, because I remember, and you can help me with this. After you separated from the military service, after you separated from the Navy, um, you went down to Florida, and then you went to, you had a job that the military was training you for. Then they pulled you from that job, right? And then they asked you to come back to finish out. And so actually you're fresh out of Navy, right? I remember, I know it all. I know your whole story. So not trying to tell your story, but um all the
Yep.
challenges, all the adjustments that you made by you keeping your head down, you staying the positive, you not responding, you not allow them to flare up your anxiety and your stress and stuff like that. I can see in the last moments of your service prior to you separating that you made those adjustments and you got out. And when you got out, what are you currently doing? What has the Navy and its
Hmm.
opportunities help you in civilian life? What are the military skills that you apply to what you're doing now in civilian life?
Hmm. Um, so basically, the one thing I will, you know, give credit to the Navy for is the ability to network.
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel like that my ability to network um, has exceeded like everybody's expectations when I was serving because people thought that I was just a person that just sat by and didn't really do too much and didn't really do work, but they
Mm-hmm.
forgot like 90% of the time who was the one that was
Yeah.
calling people on
Yeah.
top of calling people on top of
Mm-hmm.
calling people to make
Mm-hmm.
things happen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, if this person didn't answer, okay, where's the number to this person? I can call that person. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I call
Mm-hmm.
that person, and that person didn't know. Okay, who do I need to talk to? Okay, I got to go to that person. All right, go to that person, and that
Yeah.
person didn't know. Okay, then what's the
Mm-hmm.
final person I need to go to figure this out? Oh, they point
Mm-hmm.
me to the right direction, and sure enough, I got the answer I'm looking for. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
I had that network aspect about me that just
Mm-hmm.
like just did not die out, and that's why
Yeah.
like I took those skills and
Mm-hmm.
I basically moved them to um, what
Yeah.
I was doing into the civilian world to help me out a lot,
Yeah.
and that's why with what I'm doing right now,
Mm-hmm.
as you can see,
Yeah.
I'm in my office.
Yes.
This is my desk.
Uh-huh.
um, right now, obviously, I'm a small business owner and stuff, so I got my LLC
Yeah.
to do insurance and everything. I have my own company now. It's called Leo Health Advisors,
Awesome. Awesome.
named after my grandfather. So
Nice.
and that's what I'm basically using as my fundamentals to start
Mm-hmm.
off my business aspects and everything. And I'm working with doing insurance and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a
Mm-hmm.
scam.
Yeah.
Scams are pyramid schemes.
Yeah.
Scams are people or things that
Mm-hmm.
that you basically
Mm-hmm.
you sign up for and it doesn't work, or
Yeah.
you go through the process and nobody hits you back up to try
Mm-hmm.
to help you out with it. Like that's a scam.
Yeah.
A scam is like, hey, send me $30 and I can turn it into $1,000. Like
That's
that's a
right.
scam. Like
Mm-hmm.
um having a license isn't.
Yeah.
Being self-employed isn't.
Yeah.
Wanting to help people isn't. It's
Yeah.
not, none of that is a scam. And that's why I love this job so much, is because it
Mm-hmm.
allows me to
Mm-hmm.
interact with people
Yeah.
on that daily basis and stuff, and talk to people and do what I need to do with this job and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I like. I like
Yeah.
to help people. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
like I post every day. I'll say,
Yeah.
hey, you guys looking for insurance? Let me know. I'll
Mm-hmm.
get you set up and everything. And that's what I like to do, because at the end of
Awesome.
the day, like I feel like if I can help at least
Yeah.
one person,
Mm-hmm.
achieve what they are looking for in that aspect, I feel like that person in turn is going to want to tell other people, and that people is going to want to tell multiple people, and those multiple
Yeah.
people are going to branch out. So it's like,
Nice.
you got to start somewhere, but at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, what I like to do is that, like I said, my passion for helping people
Mm-hmm.
far exceeds what I'm doing right now. It
Yeah.
even helped me when I was serving. When I was in
Yeah.
the Navy, like I never stopped helping people.
Yeah.
People, and it got to the point where nobody came to me, but
Mm-hmm.
they went to those other people because of
Mm-hmm.
the fact, like I said, there was a
Yeah.
culture, and there's a certain culture
Mm-hmm.
in the Navy that I noticed that it was like
Yeah.
when they see that you're getting out, when they see that you're leaving the service, when they see that, you're separating or whatever, or you're just going to focus on yourself,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they completely stop interacting with you.
Yeah.
Like they basically treat you like you're like hot garbage, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much what was happening to me was that,
Yeah.
um, I wasn't getting anywhere because,
Mm-hmm.
everybody they just looked at me as like, um, hey, like, like, oh, you're getting out, you can't do anything for me. I want to talk to
Yeah.
this person.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's how it felt like even in the last month of me going back, because I was doing an internship, I
Yeah.
was doing through the Navy and stuff, called
Mm-hmm.
Skill Bridge and everything. I was
Mm-hmm.
working in the internships office and everything, um and even then, like, it was,
Yeah.
I was keeping in contact with the command and stuff. They was telling me, "Oh, call us every day, call us every
Yeah.
day." But other people, they didn't tell them to call them every day. So
Mm-hmm.
while I was the only one, did it make
Mm-hmm.
sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I finally got that call that,
Yeah.
hey, we're terminating your skill bridge, you got to go back.
Mm-hmm.
And right then and there, like, I just felt like everything was just like, because I was already going through
Yeah. Yeah.
enough at that point in time,
Mm-hmm.
so,
Mm-hmm.
and just to hear that really just kind of tore me
Yeah.
down, because I was just
Yeah.
like, what's going on,
Yeah.
and at that point in time, I was already focusing on working on my insurance exam through the state, like I was working on, trying to get my license and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I was still doing some studying. I was doing reading and stuff at the time, like, and it was crazy, because, when I found that out, I was like, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
What about my apartment? What about my son? I'm not gonna be able to see my son for about a month. Like, I was going through a lot of emotions at the time, and then sure enough, it just got to a point where I just,
Mm-hmm.
I embraced it.
Yeah.
I went up and I
Mm-hmm.
told myself, I said, and that's why, I thank God for, Chief Easter,
Mm-hmm.
Landry Easter. I thank God for him, because if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't went up there, and I probably would have gone to mass.
Yeah. Man,
But, yeah, but he kept me held down, because he was
mm-hmm.
just told me, he said, look, man, I heard the conversations, I
Mm-hmm.
heard the talks, and he
Mm-hmm.
said, trust me, bro, they don't want you up there. They
Yeah.
don't, he told me what it was,
Mm-hmm.
and did it hurt? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
because I couldn't believe that there was people that actually thought of me like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I did nothing wrong to these people,
Right.
uh, like, why did they treat me like this,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to embrace what was going on,
Yeah.
so that way I can get through what was going on at the time frame, and
Mm-hmm.
actually, because the only thing that was on my mind at the time was getting through that month and getting back home. That was it. Like, getting
Yeah.
back to my son. Like, I didn't care
Mm-hmm.
about nobody when I got up there. I did what
Mm-hmm.
I needed to do. They threw a task at me. I had it done within 5 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
and I just kept asking them, what else you got? What else you got? What else you got? What
Mm-hmm.
else you got?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it got to the point where they didn't have anything. They started getting annoyed, because
Yeah.
they knew that whatever they was throwing at me, it wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
Because their job was to try to make my life a living hell, which
Yeah.
it didn't work,
Yep.
because
That's
I
right.
kept completing and doing everything
Mm-hmm.
in a timely manner. I kept
Mm-hmm.
showing them, hey, like,
Mm-hmm.
you can throw this at me all you want to. I'm just going to show you that you don't need me here, you
Yeah.
know? So, which is why I was completing tasks at an earlier time frame, and it's just, like I said, there's always that favoritism part that was being played, and I didn't like it, and
Yeah.
then when I got out the Navy and stuff, I took my insurance exam when I was up in Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
and I failed it the first time,
Yeah.
and I got in the car.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I cried, because I was like, man, like,
Mm-hmm.
like, I can't believe I failed that, man. And then, but, I maybe cried for like about a good like 3 minutes, and then I
Mm-hmm.
just, I told myself, I'm like, why are you crying, dude? Like, you know how you solve that? And I was like, you get back
Mm-hmm.
on the computer, you study some more, and
Yeah.
you go back and you retake it.
Mm-hmm. Like the
You
military
know,
say, suck it up. You sucked it up.
exactly. So I was like, like I can't be sitting here crying. I need to get back at this thing. So what I
Yeah.
did was that I went back to my barracks room,
Mm-hmm.
and I restarted some more, and then I can hear, and they say, once you take it, you can't schedule for another, like, I think 72 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
So what I did was that I remember praying about it, and I heard God tell me, go back and reschedule it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So I go back and I reschedule it. And I remember I took it on a Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, woke up that morning, regular day. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm just gonna go and take this test again. Let's see what happens.
Right.
The minimum score that you can get is a 70, right? For
Mm-hmm.
for the state exam. It's a state exam, meaning that if you fail that thing 5 times, like you got 5 tries to take it. You fail the fifth time, you have to wait a whole year just to take it.
Wow.
So, no pressure.
No pressure at all.
So, and I was like, all right, I need to pass this thing, right? So what I
Yeah.
did was that I remember taking it, and I was just going through the questions. And I remember what was different from this time, from last time, was the fact that the questions on the second time go around were a lot harder than the first time. And I was like, what is
Wow.
this? And in my mind, I'm like, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I was getting ready to accept that I'm gonna take it a third time, but I was like, you know what? I told myself I got this,
Yeah.
and then I went in there, I took it.
Mm-hmm.
Lowest you can get is a 70, but I ended up coming out with a 72.
Awesome. Awesome.
And let me tell you, I was so happy because I felt like in that moment, and I knew that this job was meant for me because
Yeah. Yeah.
one, I like to help people.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I like to
Yeah.
I like to assist people the as best way as I can and everything. And then
Mm-hmm.
and ever since I started working this job, like it's just been just amazing in terms of the
Yeah.
amount of people I've been around, in terms of the amount of people that I've worked with. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, one of my mentors and my brother, you know, Yuri, he
Yeah.
that dude has been an absolute blessing to my life. He's actually the one that brought me on and stuff. And let me tell you, like I haven't I haven't had any, pushback in
Yeah.
regards to him, and because
Mm-hmm.
he just wants to see me succeed.
Yeah.
So now every time I help out somebody with coverage and everything, and I get them coverage and everything, learning the job, and I
Yeah.
tell him, he's like the first person I tell him, text him, I say, yo, bro, like, guess what
Mm-hmm.
happened, bro? And then he's like, bro, I'm so proud of you, bro. Like,
Yeah.
keep
That's
going,
awesome.
bro, keep going. So like having that positivity is just
Yeah.
everything because,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that in the military. I didn't get the positivity feelings. I didn't get the feelings of, being
Mm-hmm.
of having, that pat on the back and saying like, hey, good job, Johnson. Like, you're doing a really good job. I didn't have that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but being able to get that from the
Yeah.
people that I worked with is just is
Mm-hmm.
so awesome.
Yeah.
And we ain't talking about just average people that you were. We talking about some hitters,
Right.
some
Right.
heavy hitters. Like,
That's
yeah, like we
yeah.
like some hitters, man. Like,
Yeah.
but hearing that from them, like it's so awesome.
Yeah. That's wonderful. That
And
is
then
wonderful.
even yep, and even like hearing that from
Mm-hmm.
my I consider him like kind of like my supervisor in a way, even
Yeah.
though we're all self-employed, we all work for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but he's still kind of like, our leader and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, he basically, every time I, help out somebody, he always congratulates me and stuff, and like tells us, keep going, it doesn't stop, you only go up from here, like, like there is no going back. It's just once you hit a spot, you're there, and then
Mm-hmm.
once you hit another spot, you're there. There is no way back down. Like you just keep going.
That's right.
And I
That's
just love about this job is that the
right.
most that
Mm-hmm.
you put into is, it's
Mm-hmm.
all you. It's all,
Yeah.
you are the product. You are the one that puts the most work into it.
Mm-hmm.
You decide your hours, you decide what you do, like, and that's what I like about being self-employed. It's
Yeah.
just, you're just working it, so
Mm-hmm.
and I just thank God for, just, not being in a position where I gotta, sit
Yeah.
down and do what I need to do. And like, I literally, like, I write everything that I do. I
Mm-hmm.
write in this thing right here.
Awesome.
This is,
Yeah.
so the
I like
10x
it. I
planner
like
by, Grant Cardone and stuff. So
it. Yeah.
this
I
is where
like
it's at. Like, literally, like, it allows you to write in like what you're doing for the
it.
day, your
Mhm.
goals, your quote of the day. So you tell
Yeah.
yourself a quote,
Yeah.
and then you can
Love
write
it.
what targets you want to hit for the day. Like, say, like, I want to
Mm-hmm.
hit, $300, and I want to hit,
Mm-hmm.
talk to, like, 5 different people, and help like,
Mm-hmm.
10 different people. Like, you write it down,
Yeah.
and then they say, you write stuff down, you manifest it. So,
Yeah.
and that's what I do, and I write it
That's
down,
it.
and yeah,
That's
so.
it. That's it. That's
Mhm.
awesome. That is awesome, son. I'm so proud of you. I like what you said, how you embraced the end of your tenure in the Navy. and you carried it over to seeing the purpose and plan of God for your
Mhm.
life to manifest. Now has manifested, and God is fulfilling that on this journey, this whole new
Mhm.
journey. And just like Cameron, how you have
Mhm.
raised him, you're yet raising him, you're raising this new baby, your
Mhm.
business, to get it to a place of maturity. And as you grow and
Mhm.
continue to invest in it, you'll reap the benefits from it. All you got to
Mhm.
do is stay faithful at it. So I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of your journey. You face so many challenges, but I think you're at the point of your life where you're almost 30. 30 next year. 30. Oh Lord, I'm getting old. I'm getting younger. I'm getting younger.
I gotta see a little
Okay.
grays right here, if
Yeah,
I'm not
just
mistaken.
ignore the grays. Ignore the grays. Only reason why I keep it because um, baby, she likes it. She loves it. So, so I keep it. I keep a little bit up in there. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so
Mhm.
proud of the man that you become. So proud of you fathering Cameron, and it's amazing. You being empowered, you
Mhm.
embracing life and taking it on, and just doing your thing. How can you, as we wrap up, how can you, or what would you say to encourage and inspire other people who've been in your shoes, who are looking to either enlist or currently serving active duty, or they're retired? Just that family that either enlisted, currently serving active duty, or retired. What would you say to encourage and inspire these people?
Um. So basically, I f- the one thing I would say is that, and this is like the quote that I'm actually going to see if I can get coined, because
Mhm,
I feel like this has been like my whole life this year in
mhm,
regards to everything that's happened.
yeah,
From the situation of you know um getting arrested for something I didn't do.
yeah,
The military putting the NPO down on me. Not being able to go back home since February. Like, it's in pretty much everything that has happened, like, in regards to this year, like, just a whole heap of stuff, and I felt like the world was crashing down on me and everything. But what I didn't realize is that um, the amount of negative energy that was being put out because of everything that was going on
yeah,
was the root cause of a lot of my issues. So the one
mhm,
thing I will say, like I said, like, I'm gonna coin it, because this
yeah,
is a quote that I've been
mhm,
rocking with since,
mhm,
for the last like couple of months now, and I'm
mhm.
sticking with it. And that's, um, your energy determines your outcome.
That's awesome. I love it.
And the reason why I say that is because,
Mhm,
what you put into what you're doing,
mhm,
um, whatever feedback that you get from it is going to
yeah,
be the feedback from what you put into it. So,
that's awesome.
if you're constantly always negative all the time, and like, yeah, like, things might be happening around you, things might be falling apart around you, you might not get what you want, your paycheck might be a little off, or
Yeah,
you miss a payment on a bill or something like that, or
mhm,
you just you got somebody that's nagging you, and you just can't get away, whatever the case may be, right? But
mhm,
you know your energy that you put in to what
mhm,
you're doing,
mhm.
anything that you're doing, everything that you're doing will determine your outcome of what you're going to end up getting, and that's
Awesome.
just what it is, and that's just the reality of it, right?
Mhm,
Because at the end of the day, like, um I could have, this whole entire year, right, I could have just been putting nothing but negative energy
yeah,
into everything that I was doing. But
mhm,
I woke up one morning and I said,
mhm,
you know what, I'm gonna stay positive.
yeah,
I'm gonna stay positive in what I'm doing.
mhm,
Even if the day seems like it's not going my way, even
mhm,
if, it may not seem like it's going in my favor, or it may not be, working out in my good, like, I'm
mhm,
still gonna stay positive, because I'm a firm believer in,
mhm.
what you put in is what you're gonna get out of it. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So, and there was a moment where, um, and that's, a lot of people that
Mhm,
I've dealt with, in the military, I've, that's separated and stuff, that wanted to get out. I've never was negative to them and say, nah, you need to stay in. Why
yeah,
are you getting out? And you have people like that in the service that tell you,
mhm,
excuse me, they say, oh,
Mhm.
You know, why are you getting out? You
Yeah.
know, oh, I think you need to stay in. I don't think you're gonna do good
Mhm.
out in the world like
Mhm.
that. You know, you
Mhm.
put that kind of energy up in the air, like what do you
Yeah.
expect, to happen? You
Right.
can't be like that all the time
Mhm.
because,
Mhm.
that's somebody's life we're talking about,
That's right.
like, if they struggle, how about you be there to help them out, to give them
Mhm.
some kind of, knowledge that they can use to help them along the way, but you don't want to be that kind of person to be like,
Mhm.
oh, you're not gonna do good. Like I always tell people, anytime I had somebody separate that came
Yeah.
up to me,
Yeah.
or tell them straight up, like, I'll be like straight up, well, you must see something out there that's better than this, and I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Go get what you deserve. You feel
Mhm.
like you deserve something out there that's better. That's on you.
Mhm.
Go get
Yeah.
it. And that's just what it was for me. Like
Yeah.
because that's what I believed in. I didn't believe in people um telling people, oh, you're it's not gonna work out for you. You're gonna you're
Yeah.
gonna be back. You're gonna be back.
Mhm.
And that's
Mhm.
what they did to me
Yeah.
getting out the service. They made me feel like I
Mhm.
wasn't gonna be great, or they made me feel like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
he'll be back in the next couple of months. It's gonna be hard for him.
Yeah.
But little did they know, you know,
Mhm.
yeah, the first 2 months, working this job, it was pretty dry. Like I was
Yeah.
like, I wasn't, I wasn't helping anybody out. I wasn't, making enough money or whatever like that. Like nothing was going my way. Nothing was going my direction.
Mhm.
I kept asking myself, like, like what's going on? Like, I think that the one time that I got upset, like, I was talking to a lady about insurance and everything, and she flaked on me,
Mhm.
because she thought it was a scam, and I was
Yeah.
like, and I got upset, and I was in my house, thank God. And I took my
Mhm.
son's shoe and I threw it across the house because I was like, man, this is, like this is nuts. I was like, what's going on and stuff, and
Yeah.
like, I had my mom on the phone, and I called her and stuff, and I was venting to
Yeah.
her because it was bad. I was just like, this is, like I was upset,
Mhm. Sure.
because I was drowning in bills, I was drowning in debt, and I was just like, this
Mhm.
is ridiculous. Like, what's going on here? And then
Yeah.
next thing you know, I woke
Mhm.
up one morning and I said, hey, um, sorry, 1 second, my son's calling me. I'm just gonna, wake up one morning. I'm just gonna say,
Mhm.
I'm, I'm done being negative. Sure
Yeah.
enough, that's what happened. I
Yeah.
was done being negative. Um, and I was like, okay, cool. This is what's gonna happen. And sure enough, every goal that I set for myself, since day one,
Mhm.
um, literally, I pretty much was like, okay, set
Mhm.
a goal for myself. I met that goal, and it's been happening to me every single day because I chose to stay positive. I chose
That's
to wake up. I chose to,
Mhm.
the first thing I've done, I made my bed. Second thing I did was that, I looked myself in the mirror and I started doing affirmations, like everything to just stay positive and stuff. And like I said, the energy that you put in is what you're gonna get out of it. Your
That's right.
energy determines your outcome. And sure
That's
enough, that's what I did. You know,
yeah.
um, and we actually had a meeting the other day, and it was like we was talking to a lot of different people that were successful and stuff and got
Yeah.
to where they at right now. And I like
Mhm.
to watch videos on Patrick David and
Yeah.
sometimes Jonathan Anderson and stuff, and I like to watch videos on David Goggins and stuff
Mhm.
when I'm feeling a little dangerous. Like when I want the vulgarness and I want
Yeah.
the cussing and to get me started on my day. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's good. It's good
Mhm.
motivation, even though
Yeah.
yeah, it's extreme, but it's good
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
it's tough love kind of motivation, and that's what I
That's
like to listen to. So
right. Mhm.
after listening to those kind of motivational videos and stuff,
Mhm.
and watching videos of people being successful and
Mhm.
everything, like
Mhm.
um it's that positivity that I basically need in my life that I try to incorporate in my life, because
Yeah.
without that, what am I supposed to do? So
Yeah.
and but after doing like the panel stuff, after doing the meeting and
Mhm.
everything, I was um it's you pick up on a lot of different things that you
Yeah.
can definitely be doing a lot different, like
Mhm. Mhm.
even just like they say, it's all just starts off with one small decision,
Yeah.
to change something, and your routine and your habits. Like,
That's
you
right.
know, if you feel like you got to wake up earlier, just wake up earlier. You know, even
Hmm.
if you don't feel like doing it, just do it. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's the whole point of some of David Goggins' messages is, you know, embracing, you know, basically embracing the suck. Like you just,
Yeah.
you know, when you don't feel like doing it, do it anyway.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
if you don't want to do it anyway, because at the end of the day, like what can potentially
Hmm.
you making that small change and that small decision to just do it anyway could potentially affect a whole
That's right.
line of things that happen that's going to come. They're just going to affect
Hmm.
it in such a positive way that it's like, okay, cool. Like, you know, I made a decision to get up early. Now, guess what? Not only did you get up early, then you made your bed,
Yeah.
you took a shower, you ate breakfast, you left
Hmm.
your house early, you got to work on time. You
Hmm.
know, now you're in a better mood because you got to work on time, so you're not stuck in traffic all day.
Right.
And then now you're working with, you know, the right people and stuff. Like now you're
Hmm.
getting to where you need to go. You know,
Yeah.
if you're in real estate, you know, now you're working with some really great leads and people that you want to get to, you know about the house and stuff that they're looking for. You
Yeah.
know, if you're working insurance, you know, you're talking to the right people that actually
Hmm.
want to find insurance and stuff and not getting there late and you're getting, you
Hmm.
know, the worst of the leads and stuff. And you're like, like it's such a
Hmm.
horrible day. Like just making that small change and just it
Yeah.
just affects everything that follows through, you know, versus like, you know, yesterday if you get up, you know, at like you get up late, you know, you woke up late, now you're rushing to get to work, now you get to work and you forgot something potentially,
Yeah.
and then you didn't make food for yourself throughout the day, so now you gotta, you know, take off time from work to go get food. Like
Hmm.
it's a whole, you
That's
know,
right.
it's a whole heap of stuff that follows, and that's why
Yeah. Yeah.
having that positive impact on your
Hmm.
life just helps out so much. And that's
That's
why
right.
I say, you know, your positivity, or not your
Hmm.
positivity, but your energy determines
Energy.
your outcome.
That's
Because,
right.
you know, you get up waking on a positive note,
Hmm.
the whole day is going to be on a positive
That's
note. And
right.
people
That's
don't
right.
believe that, but I'm telling
Yeah.
you, it works.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
works, it works, it works. And that's how I
Yeah.
was able to get through that last month of the Navy,
Hmm.
because I just chose to wake up every day on such a positive note.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my, you know, everybody, you know, we're human. You know, we all
Yeah.
have our our mishaps every now
Hmm.
and then. We
Hmm.
all, you know, we get up and we say,
Hmm.
"Oh man, like I don't feel like doing this today," you know.
Yeah.
But you know what, you go in anyway. And you just say, you know what. One thing that
Hmm.
I start doing is I tell, you know, when I was in
Hmm.
the Navy and stuff, every
Yeah.
day that I got up because I didn't want to be there, I made it fun for myself, and I said, "Who
Mhm.
can I piss off today?" So, and that's what I did. Like I got up
Yeah.
every morning and I said the best way to piss people off is to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
And that's what
Hmm.
happened. So,
That's awesome, son. I
you
love
know,
it. Your energy determines your outcome. That is amazing. I take that to heart. And you too can
mhm.
get Matthew's motivation tapes for 99.99. Son, you sound like a motivational speaker. I absolutely love it. I love it. Hey, get ready because the best is yet to come for you. You are going to do some amazing things. And as long as you continue to take that energy and apply
Mhm.
it to your life of what you are allowing to manifest in your life, it's going to determine your outcome. I always say your decisions determine your destiny. So make the right decisions. Continue to make positive decisions and make the right moves and make positive moves. As long as you continue to do that, look, son, the best is yet to come. You're gonna do some amazing things. And look, those people who did you wrong back in the day, you know, they're gonna look at you and say, "Wow, Johnson, this guy, wow, look, they probably come to you and apologize to you because they see how successful you will be. And you will be successful because the Lord gives us good success. He says, "It's my pleasure to give you the kingdom." He wants to give it to you. He wants to give you everything. He wants to have you have it all and you get it all. Every blessing, every manifestation, every gift, everything that God has for you because you've been faithful. That's what keep coming to mind.
Mhm.
You've been faithful all of these years through the military, through your young years, your high school years, military, even now. But your faithfulness, and your fruitfulness in your, I don't want to sound preachy, your fruitfulness has allowed you to continue to operate in God's favor. And it's a
Mhm.
wonderful thing when you experience God's favor in this stage of your life. Just continue to hold on to it and ride it out because I'm telling you, the best is yet to come for you. We wrapping up. this interview, we're closing out. How can people connect with you?
So you guys can connect with me via my social media platforms. So right now, like I said, I have my main page, which is just through like Matthew Johnson, but also have my business page, um, which is called Leo Health Advisors. So
Mm-hmm,
let me pull
mm-hmm,
up here so you guys can see.
mm-hmm.
So basically on my business page, anybody can connect with me through there. Um, this is basically what it's called.
Awesome.
Leo Health Advisors LLC.
Mm-hmm,
So if you want to
mm-hmm.
take a picture of that,
Nice.
so you can also video chat. Well, you can message me through there. Also have WhatsApp. You can message me from WhatsApp. And also connect with me there. My phone number as well. I'm not afraid to get out my phone number,
Mm-hmm,
772-203-7939. You can
mm-hmm.
text me any given time. I'm always
Nice.
available. You can reach me there. Yeah, anybody can get a hold of me. I'm never one person to turn down a phone call from somebody that just wants to talk, or even if it's about insurance, I'll put on my insurance hat
Yeah,
and just and I can definitely talk to you guys about that. So I've already I got a 5-star review on my page. So I mean,
that's great. That's
I'm
great.
always down to help people out and
Yeah.
get people the help that they need and stuff. So I do what I can. So yeah.
And they
hmm
also can reach you on your website. What's that? The address?
So the website is called it's leohealthadvisors.com, but I'm still working on it.
Okay. Okay.
So for now, really, it's just the Facebook page. But once I get the website up, then I'm definitely going to post that on
That is
my
amazing.
social media page so everybody can have access to it and stuff. Because right
Yeah.
now, I'm just focused on just the social media aspect of it right now.
Yeah.
But yep, definitely, anybody can message me there. That way,
Mm-hmm.
let me know. I'm here. It's open enrollment. I'm
Yes.
always wanting to help everybody out. So I can get people on a plan, as low as free or, even
Mm-hmm.
as high as maybe $25 a month, depending on what people qualify for.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
definitely always down to help somebody out in that
Yes.
regard and, and kind of get people situated with that. So, yep. And that's
Awesome.
just,
Awesome.
that's it. It's not a scam.
Right.
It's not, if it
Yeah.
was, I wouldn't be doing it because I'm
That's
a
right.
super honest person and I
Yeah.
don't I don't like being scammed anyway. I
Yeah.
got my PlayStation account hacked years ago and I
Yeah.
don't like that. So I
Right.
wouldn't
Me
want
neither.
that to happen to somebody else. So,
Yeah. Me
but
neither.
yep.
Well, y'all go
Yep.
support Matthew Johnson, Leo Health Advisors on his Facebook account, Facebook page. Please support him. Um, Reach out to him if you need insurance. It is open enrollment. And Matthew, I so much appreciate you for sharing your story with us. YN2, Matthew Johnson, thank you so much. This has been a wonderful interview. And you're going to be premiering on YouTube on 11/7. You're the first one. We have a whole week. I'm a veterans sharing their interviews, their stories until Veterans Day. So, yes, you definitely have a veteran's victory. You have a veteran's heart, and it has carried you to your next assignment. And I'm excited about how you're going to continue to navigate life in a positive way. Blessings to you, blessings to Cameron and the whole entire family. To our veterans, thank you so much for your service. To our viewers, we want to
hmm
thank you for watching and listening. And we will see you again next year. God bless you all. God bless.